Okay, so welcome everybody. So what we're going to do today is we're going to this is going to be a three-peat session. So the first part is going to be Bob giving you kind of a little more detail. You'll see some similar slides. We're going to go a little more detail, which we didn't get to. We actually got to it with the teachers you referred. Thank you all for referring teachers. That was awesome. I think we got 20 or so of your colleagues in, and they're going to do something similar at the end of the month. I'll tell you that about that at the end. So part one will be Bob getting some pieces that we didn't get to the first time a few weeks ago, and talking about make sure you guys mute yourself. Good. Make web post. If you guys can mute yourselves, that'd be awesome. So anyway, then we're going to go into some breakout rooms, and we're going to get you in similar groups. We'll do construction, we'll do automotive, machining, automotive, and then we'll do welding, manufacturing. And you'll just share. I'll set that up in a little bit. And then we're going to come back together, and Swathi's going to talk to you about some best practices in social media. And then we'll do some Q&A. It's really important that we get some great documentation of this, just because we want to see some of the cool stuff you're doing, obviously. But hopefully, we'll talk to you about the social media aspects of it. If you post on social, we can always repost. We can't post on social, but we can go into that later. So thank you again for coming. I will turn this over to Bob. Oh, and the last thing to be thinking about, and I'll say this again at the end, is when we bring your people in that you referred, we'd love to have a couple of you guys join. That's going to be on September 29th. And maybe facilitate a breakout room or participate. We can figure that out. But get you guys leading your colleagues a little bit, which would be a blast. So Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you and go from there.
Great. Hello, everyone. Hey, we put a message there in the chat. Thinking about the last thing that you learned on YouTube. And if I were to put mine in there this last weekend, I had to learn how to cut a full pineapple. Didn't know how to do it. They were going, okay, wait a minute. What's the right way to cut a full pineapple? Because we had a bunch of people here for a baptism and they were cutting up this fruit and going, okay, wait a minute. How do you cut a full pineapple? Well, 1 minute and 30 seconds later, I knew how to do it. So what's the last thing you learned on YouTube? I see cutting different mortise methods, dog training, a generic simulator.
Don't let anybody drink that.
Wendy, you're loud.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Don't let him drink that. What do we got? How to model a spoon in SolidWorks. Right on. Steering coupler. How to change a steering coupler. Ups to how to transplant some palms. How to fix a 3D printer. Canvas, yeah. How to add people, so your management system. Replace a shower valve. Golf cart troubleshooting. Refrigerator motor installation. How to change a carburetor. No, Wendy, you're not. You were. How to fix a student's broken Zoom. You're good now, Wendy. Oh, how to do ad block on YouTube for kids' Chromebooks. Nice, Dennis. Here's I guess the point of all that is that we learn in different ways now. If you 7 or 8 years ago, I'm not sure we were looking at YouTube to find a way to, looking at YouTube to teach us to do something. Well, now it's pretty commonplace. You say, okay, wait, I'm going to Google this, or I'm going to go to YouTube and learn how to do something. And so I want us to think about that mindset as we move into, this strong start to the 2020 and 2021 school year. All right, so keep that piece in mind. I'm going to share my screen. And see if I can present here. So again, thinking about us starting the year strong, whether we're in person, and some of you had mentioned earlier when you got in here that you're starting in person. Some of you are looking at a hybrid pretty soon this next month, and some of you are in person right now. So people helping us today, Danny's in here. Scott's going to lead the breakout rooms. And Swathi, by the way, today or tomorrow, I guess, this is Swathi's last day with Harbor Freight Tools for Schools. We're sad. We are sad. She'll, at the end of the session today, she'll be signing autographs and things like that. But no, we're just giving her a bad time.
We were going to put a big red X through her face, but we thought we'd wait till at least tomorrow at the end of the day.
She'll share a little, maybe she'll share a little bit about her next adventure, but we are excited for her and what that's going to bring for her and her family. And so, but we're excited that she's going to be presenting today, and you get to hear what she has to share. So, woohoo! So that's our group today. And like Scott said, we're going to quickly review, give you a status update of where we are with Strong Start Toolkits and our Teach One, Lead One program and what that means. And then we really want to get into extended learning projects, give you a chance to see what we were thinking about that, but also give you a chance to talk about what you see coming up for your toolkits, and then digital resources to tell the story, because we need to do a better job of what communicating what we're doing here in Skilled Trades. And so we'll give you some resources to talk about that and some strategies to tell your story. So again, we said, hey, imagine in our last session, imagine if every student had their own toolbox to work from home or at school in uncertain times, you know. And so we said, yes, in school or out, Harbor Freight Tools for School, we're going to make the best of hands-on learning, either in person or at home. And how do we do that? Well, we think we can do it from a distance, and whether it's in person, whether it's from a distance, or it's a blended hybrid model, we think that we can provide some resources to make sure that skilled trades keep moving forward. And we said that really it's a three-prong approach. That the first prong was setting up your system, making sure that you had the resources to work virtually, and what your system is, and we called that the core four. And then we said tools at home. You know, that was the second piece: tools at home, tools at school. But also the third piece is, it's one thing to have a good system, it's one thing to have the tools, but you also have to have some curriculum to go with that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today and dive a little bit deeper into that. So just a quick review. Reminder that we set our core four, thinking about what your learning management system was, where you're delivering your content, how you're storing and creating your content was the second piece, and then live video, the reason you've used live video or synchronous video, and then recorded video, asynchronous video. And then what are some alternative apps that you can use to help support your core four? And we talked about Flipgrid, SketchUp, and Padlet. At least for Kilmer, those were some of the applications that I was using. The other thing on this slide, and we put the link in the chat there, you'll get a copy of this slide deck. Somebody, maybe Scott, you can mute that for me, please.
Blair's the host now. Blair, can you check out music?
There we go. But we also said that, hey, here's some links to support your core four. And if you want a review of that, this first video right here, how to deliver your class in a virtual skilled trades class, there's a video there and some other resource links for you. Talk a little bit about last time. Might be a place that will help you. Then we said, okay, hey, let's talk about the tools. How do we get the tools here? The Strong Start Toolkit. Here's what it was. It ended up being 53 teachers took advantage of this. The round one, there were 30 of you, and then the Teach One, Lead One, there were 23 teachers. That's a total of 53. That's 21 states. That's 3,650 toolkits that are going out to students. And our expected delivery date right now is October 15th, 2020. So the tools, those are at the core. That's to help us build a strong model, but we want to make sure that that's in a blended design. How do we get kids to continue to think with their hands, to see and touch and feel and make the learning come alive? Well, that's where the curriculum piece comes in, because we know in skilled trades that our formula for success is making sure kids have some background knowledge in the subjects that we teach, that we give them skills, and we also provide experiences that help them be better students and prepare them for their future. And part of those skills, they might be technical skills, but by technical skills, I'm talking about computer skills. Then there's specific technical skills in each of our program areas, whether it's automotive or welding. And those skills can be developed at home or in person in our buildings or on the job site. So we all know that. Knowledge, skills, and experiences. That's at the core of career and technical education. So we set up our system. We get kids the opportunity to work and think with their hands at home by the toolkits. Those are the two pieces that we've already talked about. Today, we want to spend a little bit of time talking about what would an extended learning project look like? And how can we give kids some choice and ownership of what they want to do and what they want to explore and learn? So we're going to talk a little bit about an extended learning project. Again, the tools plus the curriculum, that creates the experience for kids. And so what might it look like? I'm going to give you one example of what that looked like in the spring at Kilmer's class. But we also want us that once we start creating these experiences with our toolkits and the experiences that you create for kids at home or in your classroom, we really have to start communicating the good things that we're doing and document that and spread the word, so that what's happening in Randy's class in PA, all of a sudden Josh's people in Oregon are hearing about that, and the people in Sheboygan are hearing about it, in Texas, and all over the place, so that we can start spreading the word of the great things that we're doing in career and skilled trades education. So telling our story is going to be a key piece. The details here, when we talk about extended learning project, the details here is the tools for the students. We've already identified that, and you've all done that and turned in those applications and the tool orders. Check that off our list. How do the teachers get the tools? Those are going to be delivered to you, like we said, before October, or try to by October 15th. That's our target timeline right now. The third piece is we're going to give you some strategies on toolbox distribution, but also the extended learning plan. So if you look at this slide, and we talked a little bit about this last time, when I set my tool, when my tools came, all of them were just individually packaged. Our goal or our hope is that when you get your tools, they're going to be set aside in the packages that you ordered. Some teachers ordered as many as 3 different types of toolkits, but somehow you're going to have to organize those. My organizer was the help of my wife. And then I set up a time frame for kids to come and get those, and I set them outside my classroom on 3 different days, and they were set 6 feet apart, taking into consideration social distancing. And then kids came and pick those up. But one of the things I would encourage you to do is document that. When your tools get shipped to your school and they're in the loading room, take a picture of it, what that looks like. If people are helping you package your tools, take a picture of it or a video. If you're setting it up outside your school and people are asking what it's about, take a picture of it or a video of it. Let's get the message out that skilled trades are not just sending home PDFs and worksheets, that we've got some ideas on how kids can work with their hands at home. So the key piece of this is we're going to talk about the extended learning project rollout. There's some links on this slide, and again, you'll get a copy of all of these slides so that you have these. But the extended learning project, the idea behind these slides, and I think I've got those in a different deck here, so let me do this. I'm going to stop that one, and I got to reshare. Let me do this. If I click on that.
Some of it's working a little slow motion, Bob. Your connection, they're coming up. Kind of,
okay, short,
a little slow.
Slow connection. Okay, let me see that. Come back here. Share. Here's those slides. If you look at the extended learning project, here's what those slides look like. And I'm not going to present. I'm just going to scroll through these because I just want you to see how they're laid out. And the idea behind these slides would be that these are slides that you could use with your students if you were going to roll out a project like this. And talking points are at the bottom of the slide. And it's meant to be a quick slide deck, less than 10 minutes that you roll this out to your students. And again, letting the pictures tell the story of what you want them to do. And so if I were to scroll through these really quick, hey, finding our way in uncertain times. And then again, each one has a picture and some talking points at the bottom and a few words on the slide. And so a search for personal growth, thinking about it, that there are learning opportunities everywhere, not just inside the classroom. And so inside, outside, in the community, when we're solving problems, learning and life experiences go hand in hand, and it's personalized, and we get involved in things that are personal to us. And so you can go through these slides saying, hey, do you want to be smarter? Do you want to help someone? Do you want to learn a new skill? Or do you want to have some fun and take advantage of some of the things that you're interested in, like Fortnite or video games or learning a guitar or TikTok or whatever. And anyways, setting the stage for them that learning, when it's a personal process and that it's personalized to them and it's something that they're interested in, they'll engage in the process. So making the best of learning from home or in person. And so this slide I used is, the analogy of all of a sudden you put clothes in the dryer and you pull them all out and you have a missing sock. All right. How do you find the missing sock? Let's find that. Let's go on that exploration and make it fun and exciting and explore the world around us. And so that's the idea behind this. And you can see these slides. Again, what the major goal is. You could do it individually or with a partner and using Barbachek's Jetpack Thinking. And so here's how I set up, how does the process work? And you talk to them about project planning phase. And part of that is what problem or need do you want to solve? We ask them a little bit about a few questions. You start with, the process looks like you start with your interest and passion. You make it work for you. You pursue your passions. You make it real. You organize it. Then how do you share it publicly? And then you reflect on what you've learned. How do I think with my hands? That's what this piece is all about. And so then this last slide, I put some links here to say, okay, now, how do you get started? And so kids would go, okay, hey, first thing here, here's a hook video. The second piece is a set of questions that look like this. And the kid would answer these, the student would answer these. Hey, all of a sudden I'm going to start making it personal. They put their picture here, what period they're in. Here's your extended learning project. This would be their project proposal. And then they start answering these questions. Brainstorm a list of things that are interesting to you. Select 1 or 2 items from your list. Now, thinking about the type of work that you're interested in and a hands-on project, what would be most beneficial for you, your family, a neighbor, your community, something around the country, world? And so they answer this set of questions, thinking about the process. Who's the project for? What tools will you need? Is there somebody you could partner with, or would you rather do it on your own? And how could you do that from a distance? And then a little bit of timeline. Again, that's the project question piece first. Then the next part of that, if we go back, they turn that into Google Classroom. Then we go back to, okay, once they start the process, how do they document their learning? Well, there's a slide deck there that says make a copy, and then here's your extended learning project. And so they take the slide and they say, okay, here. They build a title slide. We teach them how to build a title slide and say, hey, communicate. Here's your title slide. Here's the blank one. Make a title slide. Tell us what you're doing. And then 3 reasons why you chose this learning project. So somebody could look at it. All right, now what are your action steps? I've got an idea. Here's my plan, but how do I implement it? I don't want to just talk about it. I want to do it. And so there's their action steps. And then we tell them, hey, take some pictures and video of your process, of what you're doing. Okay? Pictures of your process and what you're doing. Here's an example of that. You know, the whole notion of a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, show me your pictures of what you're doing. Exploring, and tell me what you're doing. Researching solutions to a problem. Exploring new tools. What might that be? So they would explain that in that piece right there. So that's how you could roll out an extended learning project, and giving the kids choice as to what the project is, as opposed to you coming up with the project. You spending all the time figuring out what the project is that they should be working on. You let them choose what it is. And again, thinking about the fact that you want them to build knowledge, you want them to gain skills, and you want to have them to have an experience that says, yep, that was worth my time. And if you make it personalized for them and you extend their learning, I guarantee you they will get engaged in it. So then how do you communicate that publicly? If we go back to this piece right here, if I'm looking at this slide right here, here's what some of the kids did. And I showed you this slide last time, but what I really wanted to show you is, okay, how do you take that and record it on a public platform like Padlet? And so if I come up here, here's what Kilmer's Padlet looked like. I just set it up for all 4 of my classes, period 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they started documenting what they were doing. Here's a kid that wanted to make a portable bike ramp. This kid was into mountain biking and alternative sports. This kid wanted to make a portable ramp that he could put on his backpack and take with him. Emma Nichi, this was one of Emma's 3 projects. By the way, Emma and her whole family had COVID-19. Henry Tripp. Henry Tripp was in my construction class, but Henry Tripp said, you know what? My family needs, my dad's replacing the trailer brakes. Here's the tools I gave Henry, which had some sockets and things like that in it, but this is what he decided to do. He was in my construction class. This was okay with me, that the construction kid was doing something on the trailer. What I wanted was the kid working with his hands and extended his learning. And for him, that was what was important to him. And you can see things got pretty elaborate here. And as you scroll down, kids were starting to document their progress as to what they were doing. He said, Kilmer, I don't think you can send me the tools. Why? You know, again, remember I'm in Washington. This kid went to stay with his dad in Florida. And so he's building the deck on the coffee stand for his stepmom and going, okay, yeah, is it okay if you do that? Absolutely. And so that's what the piece looks like. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to present. Am I looking at the whole screen now, Scott?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So every student has a story to tell. And I tried to share this with you. I would encourage you to look at this 1 minute and 20-second video. Colby built this chicken coop. This is what he did in his family's garage. This kid also drove 11 miles every day to get the Wi-Fi in the school parking lot. And so kids will engage in the process if we set up the system for them to be successful and give them some choice. So this next piece I'm going to turn over to Scott, and we're going to break you up and give you an opportunity to talk to each other for a little bit about something that you're thinking about in terms of projects for your kids when your toolkits come. So with that, let me stop sharing here.
Thank you, Bob. So this is going to be quick, guys. We're only going to have about 10 minutes. Got you in 3 groups. Looks like I put welding and manufacturing together. We're missing a few welding teachers today. So your group may be a little small. Danny will be in there with you. But I think we can still do this. And we'll have automotive and ag mechanics. And then we'll have construction or industrial tech. It doesn't really matter about content, because what you're going to do is you're going to share one activity. Actually, make it a 2-part question. One activity, how you plan to roll this out. You know, are you going to use the suggestions Bob did, or do you have your own idea already? Bob's presentation is a resource. It's not an expectation, but definitely need some kind of rollout. And then you can talk about one project you're thinking and just kind of pick each other's brain. And Blair will give you a 1 minute. And then when we get back, we're going to turn it over to Swathi, and she's going to talk about social media, do's and don'ts, and some best practices. So we'll be true to the time. So Blair is going to break you out. If for some reason you don't get in a breakout room, Blair can put you wherever you need to go. So let's see what happens. Come back. Right. Don't quit the meeting afterwards. Come back to the room.
Here we go, y'all.
Hello. So yeah, go ahead and unmute everybody, because we're
all right.
A smaller group. I think we'll be okay. Feedback. Really quick. I forgot to see this in big room. Let's do quick whip around introductions. You're pretty much all in the automotive field or ag mechanics. So where you teach. So my corner starts with Eric. Go for it, Eric. Eric, you're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry. My name is Eric Dyer. I teach in Woodland, California, which is northwest of Sacramento. Right. First day in 20 where we can actually see the sky through the smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. You go next.
I'm right south of him, just down the San Joaquin Valley. And yeah, the air sucks right now. I'm in Visalia. I'm just 70 miles south of Fresno.
Okay.
I'm the one with the big program. I'm the one that's got 220 kids.
Yep, we know. Well, let's knock out California. Dennis.
Dennis Johnson, North San Diego County, Fallbrook High School. We got fires kind of on the Alpine side, maybe 60 miles away. We got fires on the Yucaipa side because I live in Riverside, so I'm kind of getting the smoke from both ends. And first time I've done Google Meets started August 17th. So I'm learning. I'm a student in delivery of all of this new technology. So it's a learning curve, but I'm embracing it.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Cool.
Let's go out east. Jeff.
Jeff Chesery, Bucks County Technical High School, Power Equipment Technology. We're doing online work. Students are, just moseying along. We're trying to get them involved.
Great. Let's jump south of Pennsylvania. David.
Yeah, David White, Parkside High School in Maryland. And believe it or not, our weatherman has said for the last couple of days, we've got some of that smoke coming our way, and it's causing it to be very hazy over here. And so it's gone from the West Coast to the East Coast. We started school on September 8th, and everything at this point is through Zoom. October the 7th, we are scheduled to get our first small groups of students in our school district at our career and technology department. We're going to kind of be like the pilot, and we're going to bring those in for 2 hours for our level 1 and 2 hours for our level 2.
Great. Staying on the East Coast, let's do Scott.
Scott Maya. I teach at the Concord Regional Technical Center in Concord, New Hampshire. We started last week live in class. I have students in my class, and we have 9 sending schools, so some schools only come 3 days a week, some come 4, and some come 5. So that's been teaching live in class and asynchronous to students who are at home.
Great. Wendy, down to Florida. She's laughing at something. Go for it, Wendy.
Sorry. Wendy Shetman from Southwark High School in Stewart. I'm at a FFA fundraiser right now. My kids are out by the road taking a photo. I'm sorry. Chaos
That's
over
all right.
here.
That's okay. We're used to it. Let's Ohio. Gary. Gary might be frozen up.
Yeah.
So let's go over to
Gary
Iowa.
Bronson, Laurel Oaks, Wilmington, Ohio. Must be my bad connection.
That's okay.
Did it work?
Yep, gotcha. That's better.
Gary Bronson, Laurel Oaks, Wilmington, Ohio, diesel mechanics. I have my juniors all day Mondays and Thursdays. Did that come through?
Yeah, we got you. You broke up a little bit, but we got it. Melissa, last one, Iowa.
All right, my bandwidth's not the best, but I'm in Calmer, Iowa. I teach agriculture mechanics. It's actually really fun. That's exciting. And we're actually doing out of the 240 kids are online, and then half of them are there 1 week, and the other half the other week. So we're essentially teaching 3 sections of kids.
Awesome. You're breaking up quite a bit. So
per 43 minutes.
Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit.
Okay.
So we're going to come back to you near the end. Maybe you'll get a better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so quickly, we only have a few minutes. A quick whip around of one idea of how you're going to roll this out, and one project idea. Jeff, we'll go up. You're in my top right. With you, Jeff.
We're doing a Honda engine. I don't know if you can see it, the back right corner of me. It's a Honda engine. Honda donated to them. Every kid's going to get one. Tools are going to come in. Once the tools come in, we're going to do a sign-off sheet. They're going to be responsible. We're going to do an online tear apart. They're going to Google back the pictures as we do each segment. So I'll have a storage area for all those pictures. And questions and so on will go with it, of course, tests as we go proceed. Our whole idea is to get this formulated to the point where it's a build from home. I'm bringing them back here, and I'll start them up in the shop for them.
Great. Eric, you're in my top left. Let's go to you.
Okay, so we have 2 sides of the house. We have the sheet metal electrical side. Sheet metal, I'm going to have them build a small windmill. There's the video about the young man in Africa who created a windmill for his family. So I'm going to show that. Eventually, that ties into the electrical piece, how they can test circuits and do some basic multimeter readings at home. Then the other one is small engines. I'm asking the kids to look. I have a number of small engines, but I'm asking them to find their own. We're going to do a tear down in the field, and then eventually, hopefully, we'll get them back here on campus where we have a set of engines for them. But they need the tools are going to be available for them to be used to tear them down with.
Nice. Let's go down to Dennis, right below Eric on my screen. Dennis.
We're going to do an electrical project, so we'll teach them how to do wire repair. I've got a bunch of donated PCMs where we're going to show them how to maybe just make a wire connection outside of the box, inside of the box. It's something you never do inside of the box, but at least they have some physical, tangible component. And our school was really sensitive on injury, damage, who would get hurt, that kind of thing. So we're starting with electrical and we'll build from there. And same thing, we'd set up some student checkouts. I like what the picture I saw about spacing them out and having them come pick up the tools. So that's where we want to start.
Awesome. David, you're to the next on my list.
Okay, we're actually it's going to work out great if the tools get to us around the 15th, where we are having our students come back on the 7th on Wednesdays. We can just hand them out to the students when they do come back on that second Wednesday. And what we're going to do is also we've created some brake model projects, and still in the process of creating more, where the students are going to have to disassemble the brakes and reassemble on the model. As well as the wheel cylinders, and that would be completing the NATEP tests that are required for brakes. We're also going to do an electrical project where we created some wiring harnesses. We created some opens in them, and they're going to use an ohm meter to find out which wires are open and which wires are actually shorted together in that harness. And then we're going to have them put some terminals on as well.
Nice. Gary, let's see if your internet's a little better.
How's this? I'm gonna roll them out. I want to put maybe a laminated card in it with the contents, and then I'll have them sign them out. They are coming into me twice a week now. Wednesday's a remote learning day if that came through the first time. Electrical kits is what I put together, and we're going to do send them home with some wire, and I'll put ends on and build circuits, 9-volt batteries in series, relays, lights, buzzers, to prints that we'll come up with to have them build to those prints, simple circuits.
Nice. I'm trying to get to everybody. Ken.
Okay, mine sounds an awful lot like Gary's. Everything that I'm doing is focused on electrical. And I've got a lot of console labs.
Get some sleep.
I've got a bunch of trainers, and so most of what I'm going to do is going to be building them up to getting in here to work in the trainers. Crazy California, we have very little expectation of having kids in the class until January.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we only got about 30 seconds. Scott, let's jump over to you.
Yeah, I'm right there with Gary. I ordered a lot of electrical diagnostic stuff and tools, so they're going to be creating circuits and so on and so forth.
Great. Wendy.
We're gonna do some garden boxes and start with that and go from there. I'm mainly here to steal your ideas.
Yeah, and if you guys need emails or connections, you've got them from this summer. But always email me. I can connect you. Melissa.
All right, I'm not gonna leave my video off to make it better, hopefully.
Yeah.
I am actually gonna do my egg mechanics and AF&R class are gonna do like the presentation talked about, like fix things around the house and on the shop and the yard and stuff. And then my egg engineering kids are actually going to, we got some dollies and they're going to make interactive little like cars and stuff for the younger kids to play with at PE. So that way they can do social distancing from them. Great. So.
Awesome. All right, leave the room. Make sure you return to the main room. Don't leave the meeting. With that, leave the room in the bottom right. We'll see you back in the main room. We had to jam through those, Bob. We probably should have done a few more minutes, but everyone got to share.
Yeah, we just had enough time in ours, so it's good.
And
do we have
Danny's group? I think we're waiting for Danny. Danny had just a few. I think Danny had a few to manufacturing and welding.
We could have gone longer.
Yeah, we could have. Sorry. I'm kind of anal about being on time, so my bad. We want to honor your time.
We'll just
I've
wait.
hit the all-powerful close all breakout.
Look at that.
So they have 50 seconds.
Awesome. Thank God Blair made it. Blair just moved and she's getting internet installed today, and she got it just in time because I had all these rooms set up and they went away on me. That would have been a disaster with me running it. So thank you, Vic Blair.
Yeah. For the record, I did not move to San Francisco. The air is smoky enough in LA County as it is. Good. Everybody in Northern California, I'm thinking of you.
Now you got to wear your mask just because of the smoke. There were a few days in Denver. I was like, man, putting my mask on when I was outside, which I don't always do.
I've seen reports that the winds are blowing smoke from the West Coast as far as like Michigan.
We just heard somebody say it's going to hit the East Coast in our group. So, all right, looks like everybody's back. So,
Well, what I did is I put in the chat here again a link to the slides, but I'm going to go back and share this piece because Gary brought up a good point that said, he said, you know what, it would have been nice if we had a little more time too, because we're just getting rolling. But here's what I want you to know, that on this slide, you'll see a link down here that gives you everybody that's submitted a Strong Start application, along with the people that you have recommended, and their email address. So we would encourage you to reach out to them and talk to them about your ideas and share your ideas back and forth. And so you'll see that in the slide deck, and it's a link to that that gives you their email address and their content area as well. So please feel free to do that. So before we turn it over to Swathi, we're just, the last phase here of today is getting the word out. How do we enhance our megaphone and get the word out about what the great things that you guys are doing in your classroom? And how do we tell that story across the country? And so we are going to ask you to stretch yourselves a little bit and think about using some of those tools that we mentioned right at the beginning of the session today, saying, okay, last time I used YouTube, I learned something. That was a tool that we didn't have maybe 8 years ago that we're using as a learning tool. But what are some other tools that we can use to tell our story and make our work public and get the word out that skilled trades are doing some fabulous things across the country, especially in the 21 states that we're going to have Strong Start toolkits in. So you'll see on this slide, and we're not going to go through all of these, but you'll see on this slide, there's a link to all these different media applications that you can use to help communicate and tell your story. Everything from Flipgrid to Instagram to Padlet to Facebook and all the way back up to YouTube. But if you click on one of these, here's what it does. It takes you to a page, and the page tells you, okay, Instagram. If I don't know what Instagram is, if you don't have an Instagram account or you don't have kids that have an Instagram account, the idea behind these slides was that you could roll this out to your kids and say, here, hey, take a look at one of these and how you're going to communicate what you're doing. Well, Instagram, it tells you the top piece, the way these are laid out, what Instagram is. There's a video, short video, using Instagram for business. And on some of these, we place some links of some of our teachers that are using Instagram. You want to see how Matthew Barbacek is using Instagram, you click on the link and it takes you to Matt's Instagram page. Notice that he's got 792 people following him. He must have something to say there. He's posted over 1,000 times pictures of what's going on and telling stories. And so that's one of those tools that you can use to help communicate the message. If I go back to the main menu, you'll see that, let's go over here to Twitter. You know, again, same layout. What is Twitter? the quick, if you don't have a Twitter account, and well, I'll tell man, PW, he's got his kids that are going to be working with Ford Motor Company. Well, here's his Twitter page and how he's using that. And so the idea is that if you're new to this, number one, ask a kid, they'll help. Number two, that we have some colleagues in our cohort that can help set up this social media piece and help tell our story. Because we got to do a better job of that and getting the word out. We got people that are doing great things, yet there's only a limited number of people that are hearing about it. So I would encourage you to look through these. Each one is similar in nature. We put that as a resource for you. You can use for your own professional development, but also for your students as well. Here's Barbachek's School-Based Enterprise on Facebook. So Snapchat. So with that, we're going to turn this last section over to Swathi and have her, I think I can make her, can we make her a co-host?
Yeah, Blair can do that. Blair, can you make Swathi a co-host? Yeah, there it goes.
There you go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Bob and Scott. Thank you to everyone on the call, and also pass my thanks to the teachers not on the call. This is a wonderful community that I will miss. And I will watch all of you guys creepily on social media, even after I leave. So please do join social media if you aren't on there already. So just really quickly want to go over some tips for taking photo and video. A lot of you guys already are pros at this or do it in your personal or school lives. So just hopefully there's something useful and helpful for everyone in the next few slides. I think as we saw from Bob's presentation, distance learning requires documentation. Students have to take photos or videos just to show you what they're up to. And you have to take photos or videos to help your students out. So why not find ways to just make this content the best it can be and to think about other possible ways to use it. So smartphone cameras, I'm going to be talking as if everyone has an iPhone. Sorry if people have other types of phones or actually use cameras, but hopefully some of these tips will be useful no matter what. And, oh, there we go. Okay, most important question. What story do you want to tell? So as we saw from Bob's documentation of his project, the story starts when the tool comes, and the story keeps going as long as the thing that's created exists, right? So if a student is building that amazing bike ramp, like I want to see a bike on it in the mountains, and I want to see that student riding off on it. So there's just a lot of powerful stories sort of waiting to be told. Is it a community service project that a student wants to do? Is it answering a need for his or her family? Is it how to apply a really important math concept through a skilled trades assignment? What's the story you want to tell? Second most important question is, who do you want to tell it to? And that will help you decide, where you put it. Is it on social media? Is it in an email you send out to your colleagues or your principal or people at your district? Is it to this network of teachers to inspire each other? So what story do you want to tell and to whom? Super important stuff. These are sort of just like basic 101 tips for photo and video. Number one, I never do this. Apparently you're supposed to clean your camera lens because it has fingerprints on it and can lead to blurry photos. So clean that camera lens right there. Use the camera rather than the social media app. Instagram, Snap, TikTok, Facebook, they all have a sort of built-in camera. It's worse for some reason, it's just worse. So use your actual camera and then post it to the social network. If you're making video, I gotta ask Matt how he does this because he takes video all the time and it always looks steady. I don't know if he uses the tripod, but if you're taking video, considering that you can get like a little phone tripod for $10, but maybe all of you have like much steadier hands than I do, just because you're good with your hands. I'm terrible with my hands. I need a tripod. Check your phone memory. Video takes up a whole ton of space. High quality photos do as well. I'm going to talk about the grid and the yellow box on the next slide. don't zoom and don't flash. This is, I mean, people do both of these things. Photos turn out better if you don't use the zoom in the camera, because it can cause the light to kind of get screwy. You can just move your phone closer or your physical self closer, as long as you're still 6 feet apart, of course. And the flash can create lots of icky shadows, and natural light is always the best. Take a variety of photos always, any orientation, horizontal, vertical. Take way more than you think. I think, like, I don't know if you guys saw me at Let's Build It last year. I was taking about 1 million photos all the time, and I think I got literally 2 good ones. So take it from me. Take a lot of photos. And then the last tip is the most important. Natural light is the best. Early morning, early evening is the best. That golden hour, shortly after a sunrise or sunset. Like, you don't, like, anybody can take a gorgeous photo if you work at those times. It's just the easiest way to do it. So the grid is the thing. It makes like a 9-point square on your phone. You can turn it on in your phone settings. You'll see it says grid. You just toggle that on. This is the wall I'm looking at right now, with Post-its drawn by my 3-year-old, who's very talented, as you can see. So I don't know if everyone can make it out, but there's little grid lines here. And the rule of photography, for whatever reason, is the rule of thirds. And if your subject is at the intersection of these grid lines, you're on your way to a good photo. This is the yellow box. When you tap your camera screen, the yellow box might appear, and it tells the camera where to focus. It's very subtle, but I hope you can see there's a slight difference between these 2 images, and that's just because I clicked the yellow box. So this Post-it gets a little brighter, and there's a little more light right here as well. Okay, extra credit. You guys are really ambitious and want to do some cool stuff with photography. Angles, experiment with angles, capture different perspectives. If you want to, you can edit photographs after you shoot. There are a lot of free apps that let you do this. You don't have to, and either way, I wouldn't edit too much, because then, you know, people can tell you've edited a ton, and it loses like the honesty of the photo. Create a look, which I'll show you an example of. Mic check. If you're doing a video, phone microphones in general are terrible. So it helps to just be in a quiet place, and be as close to the phone as possible. And then plan ahead. Video is kind of new to me. I feel like the kids are doing it, and they're on the TikTok and whatever else. And those narratives, I mean, you can tell how much time went into constructing them. It's just fascinating to watch, like a really good viral TikTok. And then I've tried to make them. They're very hard, you know? So yeah, plan ahead or ask your students for help. This link has a lot of what I've just went over as well, if anything is unclear. Okay, a regular photo of Lesser Dixon, class of 2019, prize winner. Is that even right? 2019? 2018. Wow. Okay, sorry. So you can see that with angles, we get a more dynamic and exciting photograph, even though he's doing the exact same thing in all of these photos, essentially. I think the photos with angles create a little more interest. A regular photo of Brad DeMint, also class of 2018, and then a photo with perspective, which shows he's actually talking to someone else. I think that's Matt. Matt Barbachek, he's all over this presentation. So this gives a little more of a warmth, a friendliness, I think. And Jess, who is on the call, we have a regular headshot and a headshot with a look. And some ways you might be able to create a look either from your students or in photos you take yourself. You can ask your students to take all their photos from above onto a tabletop, or to all take pictures of their hands holding a tool, and you can collage the photos of the hands and the tools. You can come up with some like fun branded look for these projects if you would like to. Yeah, and last but not least, you know, people talk a lot about authenticity when it comes to social media. I think it actually takes quite a bit of work to be authentic. It's not just snapping a picture. So I think it helps to keep that in mind. And then just, you guys, I mean, we all consume so much media. We kind of know how to do this stuff naturally. And these are just a few little things that might help you, like schedule something at the right time of day, or use a nifty phone setting to help the photo be that much better. But mostly you, and especially your students, like just really already know by instinct how to like take a good photo or video. Stay safe, stay 6 feet apart, all that good stuff. And special thanks to our models. That's it from me. Did I go too fast? Any questions?
We're kind of running out of time, but
okay.
Thank you very much. And really, we all wish you the best of luck in your new adventure. You will be missed.
Thank you.
Sure.
I will miss you guys.
So now that you guys are all professional photographers in 10 minutes, if you didn't get the message, we just want a lot of photos, a lot of stuff. So again, the hand shots, the back shots are great because you don't need photo releases, and you can send those to us and we can post them. If you post something, we assume you have the photo release, we can repost for you. But if we see some really fun stuff, we might ask you to get a photo release if we want to post it. So document, because like Bob says, we want to share and all the great stuff you're going to do. So we are down to the last 2 minutes. As I said when we started, we're going to get round 2, your colleagues here on at the end of the month. I believe it's September 29th. I will email you that date. I will email the recording of this because we did miss about 7 people on this call. And I'll put the link for Bob's PowerPoint in there as well. And then if you want to help us, it would be great to have 3, 4, or 5 of you help on that day. And if I don't get any volunteers, I may reach out to you because really we want you guys to be leading your peers. Okay. So thank you again. Danny, Bob or I or Swati, you want to close, say goodbye?
Yeah, I have one really quick. I think because you guys are in the classroom or sort of in the classroom every day, I just remember the first time I went into a skilled trades classroom in this job, and it is so powerful to see a student come to life when talking about what they're working on. And I just wish everyone could see that happening as it does in your classroom. So hopefully I'll be seeing that on social media, thanks to your wonderful photos and videos.
I guess the last thing I'll share is I think this is a unique opportunity to engage your students' parents. You know, whenever we brought you guys together, we hear a lot about stigma and how it's hard to convince parents to have their kids take trades classes. And as a parent of 2 high schoolers myself, I'm seeing them in front of their computer all day. If they were in the backyard building something, I would be like, that's learning, and that's the class that I'm most proud that they're in right now. So, you know, if you can extend the love to their parents, and I think if we're going to think about that as a target audience to try to address that stigma, I think this can really be powerful.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of the week. And thank you so much for joining tonight.
Thanks, Scott.